Hey, it's Angel Vane, and this is episode 78 of my author's diary. I am an author of crime thrillers for women, and every week I take you through the ups and downs that I go through as I try to write and publish new books. So don't forget to subscribe or follow me if you haven't done that already. Now, this week I have a book release. The Fallen Hero is out now. You can go out and get your copies. I'm excited. And I'm a little, I don't know what the word is. It's some mixed feelings going on about this book release, which is a little bit weird because I knew that this week I wanted to do my video on The Fallen Hero. I wanted to make sure that I kind of went a little bit behind the scenes of the story and kind of recap my journey writing it. And when I sat down to kind of jot down some notes of what to talk about, I was like, wait a minute. What happens in the book? Like, it literally took me some moments, y'all, to even remember, like, okay, what happened in The Fallen Hero? Like, I've just finished it this year, and I've moved on. I'm currently writing book 4 in the series, and book 3 is like a distant memory. And I'm like, how could that be possible? Like, this story that I worked on for most of 2020 that I was so in love with, I've like completely forgotten about now that the week that it's like gonna be released, it's the oddest thing ever. And that's why I kind of have mixed feelings, because I'm just kind of like, oh, what? I gotta talk about The Fallen Hero? Like, I've moved on from that. I'm on to other stuff. But I won't be able to read my book. So I'm gonna talk about The Fallen Hero today. So first, I want to talk about the journey of writing The Fallen Hero. Throughout my videos, I don't know if you guys have been able to tell, but I'm a little bit obsessed about writing faster and writing shorter books. I have tracked, and I have my bullet journal that really helped me track the journey for The Fallen Hero a lot better than I had tracked The Relentless Hero and The Accidental Hero, the 2 books preceding it. So I do have some good stats here to share with you guys. So The Accidental Hero took me 24 months to do. It was 96,000 words. Then The Relentless Hero took me 11 months to complete, and it was 89,000 words. And now The Fallen Hero took me 8.5 months to complete, and it's 83,000 words. Now, in my estimation, that is still some slow writing. Like, come on, Angel, can't you write no faster than that? Like 8.5 months? Now, I am counting from plotting all the way up through ready to publish. So I'm like the weeks that, like, because you know, I'll finish the book, getting through beta readers and getting through all the editors and stuff. And that doesn't mean I turn around and publish it that next day. Like, it takes about 4 to 6 weeks to kind of get something set up so that it's published out there and available for people. So I'm not counting that 4 to 6 week period. So I'm talking about, yes, I'm done. I'm not looking at this manuscript no more. I'm not making any more changes. It is done and dusted. That was 8.5 months. That's still slow, y'all. Like, I hear about some of these other authors, and they got full-time jobs like I got full-time jobs, and like they still cranking out like 4 books a year, and I'm like, 8.5 months? Like, that's not really gonna cut it per se, but it's my process, and I'm going to keep working at it. I'm going to keep working at telling my stories more quicker and being a little more concise, but still trying to give good entertainment and good value and like a good story. And the characters are really going to dictate what ends up on the page. Like, it's their story that wants to be told, and I have to make sure that I'm doing them justice. And if I see that I'm going off the rails and I need to turn back and fix something, well then, you know, I just have to do it. And if that means it takes 8.5 months to get complete, it just takes 8.5 months to complete. But I am hoping, beyond hope, not that I want to delve into book 4, which I'm working on right now, but I'm hoping that I can get that done way quicker than 8.5 months. Anyway, so that's where it stands. I am steadily improving, slowly but surely, in writing faster and writing, not being so wordy in my writing, because, you know, 96,000 words, that's a bit bloated. And I think my sweet spot for especially these romantic suspense, crime thriller for women type stories that I want to tell is around 80,000 words. I don't want to be pushing 100,000 words. I really want it to be around 80,000 words. but I still want it to be a good twisty story with some good suspense and some good romance, tension, and drama, right? So if I need extra words to do that, guess what? I just guess I have to take some extra words to do that. So that means in the grand scheme of things, I released one book in 2019, but I released 2 books in 2020. So that's really exciting because The Relentless Hero came out earlier. That was like, I don't know, May, June? I don't remember when it came out. It was right around the summer, early summertime, May or June time frame. And now I was able to squeeze in The Fallen Hero right before the end of the year. Now, like right now, it's available now. You can go out and get it now. Okay, so The Fallen Hero. What is it about? So when I really came up with the concept for The Fallen Hero, I have been so kind of like just struck by the movie The Fugitive, which I had not seen in years. But when I thought about what I wanted Julian to go through, because when I think about my series, it's 4 books in the series, and so the 4 books really follow the act structure. So book 1 is like my act 1, book 2 is like act 2A, and book 3 is act 2B, and book 4 is act 3. Yeah. So when you think about act 2B, you're taking your protagonist, your main character, all the way through challenging stuff until they hit an all is lost moment. And that is exactly what happens to Julian and Mina in The Fallen Hero. At the end of that book, yes, they get out of the jam, but at the end of the book, there isn't a clear all is lost moment on both fronts for Julian. So Julian has an all is lost moment with his relationship with Mina, where he gets blindsided, like he gets like hit by a Mack truck, and he's just like really at the end of the book. And then he also gets blindsided by the ultimate series baddie, who is Priscilla Dumais. So she blindsides him too. So it's like the double punch, right? That he gets smacked with. And then of course in book 4, I got to pull him out of that and let him have his, great shine to get over all of that. So I knew that that's what I wanted to happen. And because it's Act 2B, I had to, progress it to an all is lost moment. But I needed to take him through a journey just in this book that he could, be successful in, right? And the way I wanted to do it, because it's called The Fallen Hero. So, how did he fall, right? And so when the title was there before the story was there. And when the title came, Fallen, I knew that I wanted him to literally fall. Like that scene from The Fugitive. So that's where The Fallen Hero came from. And I'm like, yeah, because he's going to fall. He's going to fall down into some water, just like that character from The Fugitive. And so really step back a little bit and you say, okay, well, he basically will get accused of a crime, framed or accused. Yeah, he gets framed. Julian gets framed. I don't know that the guy in The Fugitive gets framed. They just kind of think that he's guilty. So he's not really framed for the murder per se. But The Fugitive, the movie, the guy is wrongly accused of a crime. He manages, when the bus, crashes, he manages to get away, and he spends all his time on the run trying to clear his name. And so that concept of being framed or wrongly accused of a crime and then getting away and trying to prove your innocence so that you won't have to go to prison, that is the concept of The Fallen Hero. That is what I am telling my version of Julian as the fugitive is what The Fallen Hero is about. Now, how closely did I stick to kind of my masterwork, that movie? Not too close. Not too close. But the one scene that I wanted, the scene where, Tommy Lee Jones is talking to Harrison Ford and the water, is like the cliff is in the background and Harrison Ford is like, but I didn't do it. I didn't kill my wife. And Tommy Lee Jones is like, I don't care. I'm U.S. Marshal, fool. All I care about is I got to bring you in, fool. Right? So that conceptual scene, I have a scene just like that in my story. Now it's a little bit of a twist on it, so it's not like I didn't just go out and blindly copy it exactly, right? Because that would just be terrible. And not gonna do that. But I put my own twist on it, my own spin on it that fits with Julian and his situation. And so he has a moment like that where someone from law enforcement is facing off, and he has to decide, okay, am I going to let this law enforcement person bring me in? Or am I going to jump forward and take my chances and try to clear my own name? And of course, he does like Harrison Ford, he jumps, right? And so he goes through this whole journey of trying to clear his own name. And so, yeah, so again, no spoilers here. I mean, it's like, okay, of course, he's like my main guy, right? So of course he's going to clear his name. But after he clears his name, he gets blindsided with the double punch. One from Mina and the relationship situation, and then one with Priscilla Dumais and this ultimate bad person, criminal, mastermind, diabolical, just evil genius woman that he needs to take down. Both of them blindside him so that he ends in this ultimate all is lost moment. And so I'm hoping that you'll read book 4 to see how he gets out of that. So that's really the gist of the fallen hero. So I hope that piques your interest to kind of see what exactly does Julian go through and how does that match or mirror or not really match The Fugitive, because it's really a loose tie at this point. So when I think about the characters, I love the characters that are in the Hero in Paradise series, but I did introduce some new characters who I think will become some interesting people for readers to get to know. The first one, this book, this person has been alluded to in book 1 and book 2, and he finally gets his time to shine in book 3, and that is Mina's husband, Michael Marsh. So he comes onto the stage, and he is a huge part of the fallen hero, and he was really interesting to write. I don't know, if you think about the bad guys that I have in my books, like, they are not black and white bad guys. They have a lot of gray to them. Even Priscilla Dumais has a lot of gray to her. Relentless Hero with Tabi Karaj, you kind of like understood why he was such a bad guy. And so that's the same thing that I tried to bring to Michael Marsh, is why is he trying to keep Mina trapped in this marriage? What's his end game? What does he really want? And what's really driving that? And so I really wanted people to delve inside his mind and get an understanding of why he's yearning for that connection. And it really taps in and it mirrors what everybody wants. They just want to be loved, right? And they want to be loved by the person that they had before and they made a mistake, and he wants forgiveness and he wants that love back, right? So that's what he really wants at the core. The problem is that it's causing him to do some really shady stuff. And Michael, I wrote him, and there were times when I would write him doing some stuff, and I would stop at the scene. I'm like, oh my God, Michael, you're just disgusting. Like, I can't stand you. You're just like, you're really disgusting right now. And like, I really had, and I'm just like, and I'm creating him, but that's the feeling that and then other times he would do things and I'm like, okay, you're a brilliant mind, you're helping people, but then you have this other side of you that's just kind of like, dude, like, ugh, you give me the creeps. Like, there were times when he just really gave me the creeps. And so, really, like, I hope you guys kind of like can go through the story and learn about Michael and see, how he could give you the creeps, but then also see, the human part of him that's inside and that just, really just wants to be loved and wants to have the woman of his dreams back. So that's Michael Marsh. Then I have some other fun characters who just pop in for a little bit. So I think about, Julian actually does go to prison for a little bit. And so, we have some prison cast of characters. And so I created this one character named Xander. I love Xander. He is, and I don't know, some of y'all, I don't even know what this guy's name is, but he is based off of this guy a real life guy who went to prison, and he had his mugshot, right? His mugshot ended up all over the news because he was hot. Like, he was probably one of the sexiest dudes like ever, and his mugshot didn't even look like a mugshot. Like, he just looked like sexy man in the mugshot, right? And so when I thought of Xander, I thought of that guy. I'm like, Xander is like that guy. You would see him and be like, you in jail? Oh man, why is somebody so hot like you foolish enough to end up in jail? You need to be out free where we can get a chance to run across you. And so that's what Xander, and so Xander has this tattoo that says Playboy across his forearm. He is a playboy. He's one of those guys where it's like, he's not conceited about it, but he acknowledges, like, it's an awareness of how attractive he is and what that effect is on females, right? So he doesn't come across as arrogant or conceited, but it's just, it's for Xander, it's just, it is what it is. I look like what I look like, and I know I look good, right? So it's kind of like just a fact. It's not something that is, oh, he sold, this or he sold that. No, it's just kind of like, no, that's like a fact. So so I really enjoyed writing Xander. He was a fun character to write. Then another character that I introduced is, I had Omar, who is one of Mina's best friends. So Mina has two best friends, Omar and Regina, in the books. And Omar at times in book 1, and maybe, I'm not sure in book 2, but he would refer to his cousin that's in the PC5, the local island gang. And if he needs to call his cousin in the PC5 to hurt somebody or to do this or to do that, kind of in jest, but not really, because Omar actually has a cousin that is in the PC5. And this cousin shows up in the book, and spoiler, it's not a guy, it's a girl, and she's a badass girl, right? So, so Omar's cousin Athena shows up in the book, has a brief moment in the book where she kind of gets involved in some stuff. And she was really fun to write because she, again, is not the typical bad person, right? So she's in there. She has a real girl next door type of charm and look to her that you would never even think that she was in a gang, which really, I think, makes it complicate her character. And I'm really interested about exploring her in the future, but that's like way in the future. Those were 4 new characters that you would meet in The Fallen Hero that I thoroughly enjoyed writing and exploring and getting to know. And I would say the last thing that I want to say about The Fallen Hero is that one thing that I really try to play up in this book is friendship and how important friendship is, especially when you're going through a tough time. So both Julian and Mina end up relying on their friends, confiding in their friends, and getting support from their friends. And so that friendship element is just kind of a thread that kind of plays along. And I think it's interesting because 2020, with all the craziness that has gone on, I found, even personally in my life, like, I have these clusters of friends, like the friends, from college, and then the friends, my work friends who became like real friends. You have these work friends who are kind of like, yeah, I literally only talk to you at work. But then you have those work friends that transcend, and then they become like real friends. And so I have a group of those friends. And before 2020, like, we weren't the best at keeping up with each other. But I think with all of this stuff that started to happen in 2020, I feel even closer and even more connected with my circles of friends. And so I think because of that, I kind of played that up unconsciously, probably, in The Fallen Hero, to really have them tapping into their circles of friends as they dealt with the difficult situations that they were going through, Julian and Mina, in their lives in the book. So that's kind of a little snapshot, a little sneak peek, a little, peek behind the curtains of The Fallen Hero. I really hope that you go out there and pick the book up. I really think it's a great book now that I remember what I wrote. So if you want to continue to keep up with me and all the ups and downs that I go through as I try to write and publish new books, click the subscribe button. Then don't forget to click the little silver bell so you won't miss when I'm doing a video, and I will see you next time.